Hello everyone. Welcome back to another video. And we're at this point where we're almost halfway through the F1 season. So let's talk about mostly what happened throughout from Australia till now, who's leading the championship, and basically that's it. So far in 2026, we've learned that Mercedes has the best engine because Kimi Antonelli won 5 in a row and George Russell won 2, and then our other 2 winners were Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc for Ferrari. And the 2026 season so far isn't that bad. My one problem is just there's way too many DNFs. We've seen things I never thought we will ever see. Cars on fire. I'm specifically looking at Cadillac when I say this. And there's a bunch of reliability issues. Lando DNF'd in Canada, and he's about to get a grid penalty for Belgium. Max doesn't really have such huge reliability issues. I think he had one in China. I'm not so sure for Monaco. And then our championship leader, Kimi, he had one, and that was in Barcelona. George also had one in Barcelona, George also had one in Canada. Sorry. Charles Leclerc, I don't believe. Oh wait, I think he had one in Barcelona. This time I'm sure. But this season has been a wild one. We've seen the craziest podiums, like the like the Canadian GP, where we had Max, Lewis, and Kimi on the podium. Obviously, Kimi winning, Lewis second, and Max third. Probably one of the most historic podiums. And some of the races were good so far. Miami was a great race. That start in Miami was amazing. Though I did have a little heart attack when I saw Max was facing the wrong way. And at the end, when Charles crashed, breaking his suspension, if I'm not wrong, and all the drivers catching up to him. But that's that. Oscar Piastri crashing in Australia. Australia wasn't such a bad race. I can't really remember a lot of it. But a race I can remember a lot of is 100% China. First, the qualifying was amazing in China. Although George could have got pole, but there was something wrong with his car. But Kimi got pole for the first time. Well, for the second time, because he had Miami sprint pole in 25. And he got his first Grand Prix pole. And Kimi won in China. And when he won in China, something happened. He started locking in. Kimi wins in China. Kimi wins in Suzuka. Kimi wins in Miami, Monaco, Canada. 5 in a row. There's only a couple drivers that have won 5 Grand Prix in a row. And Kimi is one of them. begs the question, is Kimi Antonelli really this good at this age? He's 19 and already doing better than most drivers. Okay, but ignore that now. Let's talk a little bit more about the McLarens. In Australia, I believe Oscar DNF'd. Canada and Monaco, Lando DNF'd. We don't speak of McLaren's good call in... We don't speak of McLaren's good call in Canada with the Inters on a dry track. I still don't know how you get that wrong. Oscar was complaining the whole time that the Inters are a mistake now, and McLaren didn't listen to him. So yeah, that's the thing. Alpine and Racing Bulls are doing better than I would have thought. And let's speak about the DNF of Nico Hulkenberg in Barcelona. How unlucky. Liam Lawson went wide, hitting the gravel, and the gravel somehow hit Nico Hulkenberg's kill switch, killing the car. How? How are you? How's your luck that bad? And Nico was on a good run to finish in the points, and his race gets ended like that. Just insane. We have Belgium this weekend. I'm not excited for the 5 straight line modes. In Silverstone was already bad as it was, that drivers need to be super clipping and doing all those things. And now we have Spa. It's going to be an interesting race. There might be rain. If there's rain. Because we haven't seen the 2026 cars in the rain yet. So it'll be interesting to see them race in the rain. And Red Bull has abandoned their Macarena wing. And like I said, Lando has a 10th place grid penalty. And Isaac Adjar, it doesn't really matter what Isaac qualifies, he's gonna be last. Has to start at the back of the grid. Because if I'm not wrong, this is his fifth component he has to change. But it's crazy. The reliability on some of the things on these cars are just ass. Literally just ass. And now that we have a new team joining us, what I wanted to say was, now that we have another team joining us, Cadillac, and I might be able to say Cadillac are on fire. No, I don't mean they're doing good. They're literally on fire. Cadillac are literally on fire. The brakes are on fire. And let's talk about the Formula 2 team in Formula 1, Aston Martin. I just have one question. How do you get lapped in a sprint? A goddamn sprint. How? How slow does your car have to be? I'm shocked to think that the Aston Martin is so slow that it would qualify in the back of the Formula 2 grid. So, yeah, that's basically 2026 so far. They don't really go in much details. The only driver that hasn't DNF because of a reliability issue thus far, I think, is Lewis Hamilton. I haven't seen, well, he's the only driver that hasn't DNF'd. But is shocking. And that is basically what's keeping him close to Kimi Antonelli. And if I'm not wrong, there's like a 40-point gap between Kimi and George. If you like this video, let me know down in the comments who you think is going to be the 2026 World Champion. And I'll come with more news when I find out. And I hope y'all have a scrumptious day.